Greetings, Hunters, and welcome back to another episode of The Hunters AD 1492. Right, so this is card 63 and it needs to be resolved between days 19 and 25. So we're going to have to head back up to Penzburg to get this done as soon as possible, because we don't want to be falling behind again. Fortunately, all these other cards, they aren't time limited. So we have no choice but to travel because we're already on day 24. So we need to get back there as soon as possible. So we're going to go to Aschenwald. That puts us on day 25. And we see if we have a road event. And we don't. So we go back to Penzburg, putting us on day 26. And we don't have a road event again. But we can head straight to the Executioner's Inn, location 4. And we have got a job there that we can do. But first, let's see what this is. If you have collected clues 1, 2 and 3, 39.05. Okay, so we have collected all 3 clues. So we go to 39.05.
You've paid my debts. I'm grateful for your sacrifice. The fur and information about the beast's nature you provided are enough. The potion is ready. Use it carefully. A few drops are enough for it to work. Once you imbibe it, your eyes will, for a short while, see glimpses of an aura, impossible to detect even for the most skilled hunter. I'll also suggest to the Duke that it's time for a great hunt. Maybe you'll manage to locate the beast and follow it. Just remember to act immediately after the monster appears. Place S11 face up on M09 with a time token in 4 days. You gain S081. Okay, so that will be available at day 30. And it says day 25 to 31 is the best time to do that. So hopefully we can get back on track. And that's going to be halfway through our hunt. So let's see what S081 is. So it says we just gain this. So this is Potion of True Sight. Keep this card. Okay. So she said to use that immediately after the monster appears. So I'm guessing there's going to be some way to use that when the monster shows up. We've lost our diamond sharpening actually from our long sword. Let's have a look at what this public works quest is. So we can actually make a little bit of money here. I don't think we're going to travel out anywhere else just yet. So it might be worth doing this to earn a bit of money. And then we still have that job for Peter down here with his warehouse. And it's only going to take us a day to reach there. So we've got 3 days where we can try and gear up a little bit. So I think we're going to do this. 19.01. You reach the place you were told about at dawn. Maybe a dozen people have gathered at the tower, mostly local grunts and a few strangers. You're appointed to different tasks according to your skills and begin to work. You can work for 1 or 2 days. The wage is 1 ducat per hero per day's work. Additionally, volunteers may work at the top of the scaffolding. It is riskier, but the wage is higher by half a ducat per day for each hero. So you have a choice. For each hero who chooses the basic work on the ground, test perception 2. On the other hand, each hero who chooses to work on the scaffolding tests dexterity 3. So that's going to be a harder test, but it'll get us more money. And we're going to work for 2 days. So if we work at the top of the scaffolding, we'll get 3 ducats each total. So that's what we're going to try and do. We have got some morale, which is going to help us. So we're going to do Wilhelm first, because we can use his morale to increase his chances. And he's got a dexterity of 1. Only gets a 3 anyway, so that's perfect. And now we will do Friedrich, and he's got a dexterity of 2. So he's also got some morale to use if he needs it. He gets a 0, but he has his 2 dexterity, and then we'll use 1 point of morale to turn it into a 3. So both of them pass. So when we pass, we go to 19.04. The work is going smoothly. The scaffolding is secured in place, and your steps are sure. After you're done, Herr Wilhelm personally hands you the money. and encourages you to assist with other tasks for the town. The heroes gain 1.5 ducats for each day of work. So we chose to work for 2 days, which puts us on day 28. But we get 6 ducats. So we're going to see what we can actually sell while we're here. So the first thing we can sell is this dagger for 2 ducats. Then we haven't got anything else we can sell here, but we can sell that gambeson if we go to the armourers. So first we're going to go to the medic. And we see if we get a town event, and we don't. And we're going to spend 1 ducat each to heal 2 health. We also need to spend another ducat to fix Friedrich's Brigandine. Then we're going to head to the armourer. See if we get a town event, and we do. So we take our town events and we draw from the bottom. We find panic. You're in the middle of a crowd heading toward the nearby market. You hear horrible screams coming from somewhere ahead. People around you stop and nervously look around. A moment later, you spot a few running, bloodied men. They come from the west and crash into the crowd. A moment later, everyone else starts to walk, slowly at first, but then faster and faster as more screams can be heard. Finally, you're swept by the unstoppable mob. People are shouting, yelling, screaming, falling down and trampling each other. No one knows anymore what's happening, where the threat originates from, or if there's any threat at all. Everyone is simply trying to break out of the deadlock. You're separated and don't see one another anymore. Each hero chooses their own reaction. Okay. You hold on to some pole, brace yourself, and try not to let this human wave overtake you. You try to make your way through the panicked people, meandering between their legs, so that you can hide inside the empty barrel lying on the streets. Okay. We're going to do Friedrich first, and he's going to do B. So as long as he gets a 1, he's okay. And he gets a 3, so he's absolutely fine. And then it doesn't really matter which one Wilhelm does, so he'll go for the other one. He'll go for A, because he's got 1 strength, so he needs a 2. Oh, and he gets a 3 as well. So they're both successes. So it's going to be option A for both of them. So option A. A moment later, all is calm. The street is littered with a dozen bodies of those unfortunate enough to resist the mob. You can't see any threat. Whatever caused this panic has gone. You gain 1 experience. So we each gain 1 experience, putting Wilhelm on 20 experience and Friedrich on 9, which does mean I have enough to raise Wilhelm's strength back up. But I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to think about what I want to spend that experience on. But we're now at the armourers, so we're going to sell this gambeson for 3 ducats. And that's pretty much everything we've got to sell right now. So what's our money? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 8 ducats. We need a good bit more if we're going to get some decent weapons. So we do have all these greases we may be able to go and sell at some point, or possibly use. We'll see what's most beneficial. But what we're going to do for now is we're going to go and try and make some money off Peter. Because you remember down at the blacksmith, I think it was this one anyway, he had that warehouse job for us. So we're going to take a look at this. You see a low but large warehouse. According to your snitch, it's used to store illegal substances. A few other similar buildings are close by, and you assume that a yard is located at the back. 44.29. So 44.29, we're just given a choice. A. You spend the rest of the day closely checking the area for potential guards and take a look at the place from the tower of a nearby ruined church, plus 1 day. Or you have no time for subtleties, so you bang on the main door, 44.16. The smart thing seems like taking the extra day, but we're going to have to go on that hunt pretty soon for the beast, and I want to get as much done as I can in the last few days I have. So we're going to go with B. You have no time for subtleties, so you bang on the main door. 44.16. What do you want? Go begging somewhere else. A ginger guard sticks his head out through the half-open door. So we have another choice. A. Let us in for a moment. We have an offer for you. Or B. One of you smashes the guard's head with the half-open door and the rest of the group barges inside. Okay, well, let's try and play this a little bit smart. We'll go with A. Let us in for a moment. We have an offer for you. 44.17. Let you in? And who the hell are ye? Asks the ginger one suspiciously. We can let one of you in. The rest will wait outside. Okay, so A. You choose one person to go inside. B. One of you smashes the guard's head with a half-open door and the rest of the group barges inside. C. If you observe the warehouse earlier from the roof of the tower, you can choose other options to get... No, so we didn't do that. So we can either choose one person to go inside, or we can stay together and barge in. Well, it might be foolish, but I think we're going to choose one person to go inside. And we're going to choose Wilhelm. And I think maybe if we can get him into the thick of it, he can probably take out a few enemies pretty quickly, rather than having to run through this warehouse. So we're going to go with A. Choose one person to go inside. 44.18. The guard lets you in, locks the door, and pushes you to the guard room. What you want to talk about? Bluntly asks a muscled brute, sitting on a wooden stool. He only has one tooth. So we have a choice again. A. We want you and your friends to disappear for some time from this district. Immediately. We'll guard the warehouse for you. We can offer 15 ducats for this. B. Wouldn't you want to change your employer? Peter, our boss, will gladly take you under his wing. You must have heard about him. Or C. You jump out of the room, kicking the table on your way, then get to the door and unlock it. Let's see if we can get him to change allegiance. Let's go with B. Let's see if we can... Maybe these guys are friends of Peter's, who knows. So 44.21. Peter, huh? That's interesting. They warned us about such a situation. The man grabs a cleaver lying nearby. Cuff, Gafuff, Fin, forearms, yells the brute, and takes a few steps back, as if waiting for his companions to join him. Resolve Quest 42E. So, here is the setup for Quest 42E, and we have Wilhelm, who's inside in the guard room up here, and Friedrich, who is outside. Quest goal. Your quest goal is to set fire in 3 out of 4 places indicated on the map by the end of round 10. Setting fire in the 3rd place immediately ends the quest with the hero's victory. If 2 heroes participate in the quest, it is enough to set fire to 2 out of 4 places. So if we can, we'll set fire to 3, just to make sure this place thoroughly burns down. Special rules. In order to set a fire, a hero has to perform the interact action, then take the proper quest token from the board. In order to collect a finding, it is not sufficient to perform the interact action. Each finding token represents a heavy secured crate, so when performing the action, a given hero must thus pass a Brain 2 test or a Strength 3 test to collect the finding. In round 3, new enemies appear on the board. Deploy 4 times handgunners on space, 2 for 2 heroes. In round 6, new enemies appear on the board. Deploy 6 veteran bandits, 3 for 2 heroes. The bandits should be deployed as evenly as possible between spaces 1 and 2. In case of 3 or 5 enemies, deploy more on space 1. At any time, there can be up to 6 bandits on the board. If this number would be exceeded, deploy less enemies. Okay, so we've picked our 5 starting cards. And just before we actually begin, I spent Wilhelm's experience, or most of it anyway, to get this heavy swing card, which lets us do more dice against enemies who have taken wounds. And he's also got another blade dance, but I'm not actually starting with the blade dance for once. And then Friedrich has his 5 cards, so we just need to shuffle their decks. And then we need to get our veteran bandit cards and our crossbowman cards. So, we have seen our crossbowmen many times before, but this is the first time we've encountered veteran bandits. So veteran bandit has a health of 8, and they also have wooden shields, so when we attack them, one of our strength is converted to a die, and one of our agility is also converted to a die. And I think their defense values are the same. So that is everything ready to go. So the crossbowmen are going to activate first with their perception value of 2. So let's see what they do. So range 2+, attack 3, range 4, pierce 1. Okay, so they've both definitely got range. So we'll start with this guy who's going to attack Friedrich. So he's going to do an attack 3, and it's going to be pierce 1. and the only target he can see is Friedrich. So we roll his 2 dice. So he hits with 1, and he has an agility of 1. It's Pierce 1, so we block 1 point of damage, and that drops Friedrich to 6 health. Then this crossbowman, he's only 1 space away. So he will actually move 2 spaces to be further away from his target. It's interesting because if he moves, he's going to lose line of sight to Wilhelm. So I think what he's going to do is actually he's going to move 2 to there and back up his friend, and then he will shoot at Friedrich, as that's his new target, and it's an attack 2. Ooh. So he gets a 1, so we add an extra 1 to that die, and that's a 3, which is a miss. So he adds his agility, it's Pierce 1, so Friedrich takes 2 damage, dropping him to 4 health. But we're going to use Friedrich's Greek fire reaction, so play after the enemy activity. So he gets to make an attack 1 at range as a free action. So he's going to fire his blunderbuss. It's an attack 1, but the blunderbuss has +1 accuracy, so he needs 2s or less to hit. And he gets a 1, so gets to add another die. And it's a 4. So his agility is 2, so that becomes 3 damage, and the blunderbuss is Pierce 1 and attacks everything in the target space. So they only have a defense of 1, so it's going to do 3 damage to each of them. Unfortunately, his blunderbuss then needs reloading. So the veteran bandits have still got a perception of 0, so it's going to be Friedrich's turn. We'll discard this one to use an interact action to reload his blunderbuss, and then we'll use answering the call for an attack 2 and a move or parting leap of 1. So he's got that +1 accuracy, so this time we need 3s or less to hit. And we have 2 2s and a 3, plus his dexterity of 2, so that's 5 damage to both of them. So we actually kill off both of them. And then he gets to do a move or parting leap of 1, so he's going to move into here. Okay, so now it is the veteran bandits' turn. So we'll draw a card for them and see what they do. At range 0, they do an attack 3. So this guy's going to do an attack 3, and then we'll do those 2 first because they're further away. So they're going to move 2. So the veteran bandit rolls 3 dice and has a strength of 1. So he hits with 2 and his strength is 1, so it's 3, but Wilhelm has that shiny new breastplate. Oh, and he actually has to roll, doesn't he? Because Wilhelm's got that wooden shield as well. Oh dear. Okay, so actually that's just made it worse for us. Oh dear. Okay, so that should have been all blocked by that breastplate, but using my wooden shield actually made it worse. So it now becomes a total of 5, which drops Wilhelm to 3 health. And then it's Wilhelm's turn. So Wilhelm is going to use Flurry of Blows for his first action. So it's attack 2, but he's got +1 accuracy on his longsword, so it's going to be attack 3, which is 2 3s and 1. So another die, it's a 6. Okay, so he gets 3 hits plus his strength, which is unfortunately only 1, so it's 4. And it's Pierce 1. Oh, we've also attached humanoid grease, I forgot to mention that. So 3 damage goes through onto this guy, and then he's poisoned. So as he is poisoned, he will take 1 damage at the start of each of his turns. So then we're going to do the same again with the second attack. And we get a 1, 2 and a 3, which means we get to add another one. And that's another 1. And that's a 2. Okay, so that is 5, that's 6 damage altogether. and it's Pierce 1. So he takes 5 damage, which is enough to kill him. And then as Wilhelm is in a space with a finding token, he's going to discard one of these cards. We'll discard this other flurry of blows for an interact action. And then he has to do a test to collect this. So his brain is 0, but his strength is 1. So we're going to try the strength test. And he gets a 3. So we get that finding token. And then that's the end of the first round. So we need to draw 2 cards for Wilhelm. And we need to draw 3 for Friedrich. So since Wilhelm and Friedrich are now both wearing armour, that drops their perception. I don't want to be just going last at the end of every turn all the time. So I'm just going to use the standard rules where, because they are perception 0 and I am perception 0, I get to choose the order of activation. So we're going to start with Friedrich, and he fired his blunderbuss a second time, didn't he? So it needs reloading. We're going to use his stimulant card to reload his blunderbuss. And then we're going to play Answering the Call to attack these two. So he gets +1 to his accuracy. So he needs 3s or less. 2 3s and 1. And that was a 2. So it's 4 plus his agility. So it becomes 6 hits. Oh, actually no, it doesn't. Their wooden shield converts 1 of his agility to a die. So it's actually +1 is 5, and then we need to roll a die, which is a 6, so it's 5. It's Pierce 1, and they have 2 armour against ranged, so they're each going to take 4 damage. And then next we'll do Wilhelm. So he's not going to be able to attack them, because he doesn't have any decent movement cards. So we're going to discard Precise Blow and Protecting the Group to allow us to move 2 spaces. And then it's the Veteran Bandit's turn. So they are 1+ space away, so they can both get into a space with Wilhelm. So they're both going to move and attack Wilhelm. So they each do an attack 3. Oh, but Wilhelm's got his wooden shield, so he actually converts their strength to a die roll. So he gets a 1 and a 3. So the first one does 2 damage to him. So his breastplate blocks that damage. And the next one does the same thing, and he gets 1 hit. So the breastplate blocks that damage as well. And that's the end of the turn. So we move on to round 3. And on round 3, 2 handgunners appear at space 1. So the handgunners are a new enemy type. So they have 9 health, 1 defense against everything, and they have coward. If after performing the parting leap it would be engaged with an enemy, it performs a melee attack 1 instead of a parting leap. And their ranged attack is quite nasty with 2 agility and 4 dice. So we'll give their cards a shuffle. And then we still need to draw new cards for Wilhelm and Friedrich. So Wilhelm and Friedrich gets 2. Okay, so everybody is perception 0, which means I'm going to have Friedrich go first. So Friedrich wants to start lighting these fires, and he also wants to get out of the way of those gunners. So he's going to spend his first action to use his move or parting leap 2. And then with his second action we'll get rid of this rubble. We'll lose the option to hide, but that's okay, because he can move 1 into here, and now he's out of line of sight of those gunners. So then we'll have Wilhelm go second. So the first thing he's going to do is use his heavy swing because that's going to give him +1 die for each wound. The enemy has up to 3. So the first enemy he attacks, he is going to be attacking with a 6 dice attack. Oh, but they convert one of his strength into a dice roll, don't they? So it's going to be a 7 dice attack with no strength bonus. So he gets 2 1s and the 7th die for his strength. And it's another 1, so he gets 1 more die. So far he's got 6 wounds on this guy. So it'll be 6. He blocks 1 point with his armour, and the second point is pierced by the longsword, so that will be 5 damage goes through. So with our second action, we're going to attack with Blade Dance against this guy, and we're going to enhance it with Powerful Strike. So we get to add 1 strength during the attack. So Wilhelm now counts as strength, but their wooden shield will convert one of his strength points to a die roll. So we're going to roll 4 dice. And his longsword has +1 accuracy, so he needs 4s to hit. Okay, not a great roll, but we did get a 1. And we get a 2, so that's 3 wounds, plus the 1 strength that wasn't converted to a die by the wooden shield. So that's 4, but unfortunately he has 2 points of armour and it's only pierce 1, so it does 3 wounds to him, putting him on 7 wounds. And now he activates, but at the start of his turn, because he's poisoned, he takes 1 wound. So he actually dies from the poison. And now we have the handgunners. So they are 2 spaces away. They don't have line of sight because of the wall. So they're just going to move 2. 1, 2. And then that's the end of the turn. So we move on to turn 4. And we will draw 3 cards for Wilhelm. And 2 cards for Friedrich. Okay, so we're going to start with Friedrich. Okay, he's going to use Run for the Wounded, which allows him to heal himself 1, bringing himself up to 5 health, and then he gets to move or Parting Leap 1. So he's going to move into this space with the number 2 token, and then he will spend this other stimulant to do an interact action. So we remove this token, and that space is now on fire. It doesn't say anything about the fire damaging us if we are in a space with it, so I'm assuming it doesn't hurt us. And then we'll do Wilhelm. So we are going to use Protecting the Group, which allows us to do a move or Parting Leap of 1, and then do an attack 2. And he gets a 1 and a 2. So he gets to add another die. So it's 3, plus his strength is 4. They have 1 point of armour against melee, so it's pierce 1. So one of these guys takes 4 points of damage and is poisoned. And then we're going to use Draw Attention. So we're going to do an attack 2. So it's going to be another attack 3. We're going to attack the same guy. And he gets 5, 2 and a 1, so he gets to add another die, which is a miss. So against the same guy, this is going to be 3. And the handgunners activate. So at range 0, they just do a Parting Leap 2. Suppose what we'll do is we'll put one of them into here, and then one of them, this guy, who would take a damage from the poison, he can go back there. And then we're on to round 5. And we will draw 2 cards for Wilhelm and 2 cards for Friedrich. So we're going to start with Friedrich. We're going to do Move or Parting Leap of 1, putting us into here. And then he's going to discard Left Swing. try and get this finding token. So he's going to do the mind test. So it's only got a difficulty of 2. And he rolls a 2. So he gets that token. And then next we're going to do Wilhelm. He's going to use advance to move or parting leap 1 and then gain an offence token. So he's going to move 1 up to here and then he gains this offence token. And with his second action, he is just going to discard this assault card to do a move 1. Okay, and then it is the gunner's turns. So this gunner is on 8 damage and he is poisoned, so he will just die. And then this gunner, he's at range 2+, so he is going to shoot at Friedrich. So they roll 4 dice and add 2 to the result, and it's pierce 2. And lucky for us, he actually missed with most of those shots. So it's going to be 3 damage straight onto Friedrich. And that's the end of the turn. So the handgunners need to shuffle their deck. And then we draw 2 cards for Wilhelm. And 2 cards for Friedrich. And then we go on to round 6. Now on round 6, 3 more veteran bandits appear. And they're deployed as evenly as possible between spaces 1 and 2. And it says, in the case of there being 3 or 5 bandits, we deploy more on space 1. So these 2 appear here. And this one appears here by the back door. So we're going to start with Friedrich, and he's going to use 2 anatomy cards to heal himself for 4 health. Putting himself back up to 6. And then Wilhelm is actually going to let the enemies go first. So we will start with the veteran bandits. So they are 1+ space away, so they're each going to move 2. So he will go 1, 2. They will go 1, 2. And then we'll do the gunner as well. So the veteran gunner, he is 2 spaces away. So he's going to do the same again. Attack 2 at range 3. So he gets a 1, which is a 2. So that's 2 plus his 2 dexterity, and it's pierced 2. So that's going to be 4 damage onto Friedrich, dropping him back down to 3 health. And then last we have Wilhelm's turn. So Wilhelm is going to discard Draw Attention and Precise Blow, and he's just going to use that to move 2 spaces. He's going to go 1, 2. And that's the end of the turn. So we draw 2 cards for Wilhelm, and then 2 for Friedrich. And then we're on to round 7. So we're going to start with Wilhelm, and he's going to use Quick Blows to do an interact action. So he's going to try and collect this finding token. So once again, he's going to use his strength. And he gets a 2 plus 1, so it becomes a 3, so he collects that. And then his second action, he's going to use jump attack. So it's move or parting leap 2. So he can actually move to here. And then he can move again to here. Okay, then we will have Friedrich go. Friedrich's kind of cornered here. He might get knocked out if I don't do this. So he's going to play a heal 2 on himself first to put himself up to 4 health. Then he's going to play versatility. So he will heal 3, then he can move or parting leap 2, and he can interact. So he heals himself back up to 7 health, and then he is going to use that move 1 to there, I think. And then he also gets an interact, so we can reload his blunderbuss. Okay, and then we will do the veteran bandits. Okay, at 1 plus range, move 1 and attack, but they can't do that, so they're just going to move 2. So this guy will go 1, 2, and these two will go 1, 2. And then the hand gunner, he's at range 1, so he's going to do an attack 3 this time. So he hits twice, and we add 2 to the result, so it's 4 again, which drops Friedrich down to 3 health. So we move on to round 8. We draw 2 cards for Wilhelm. This is the first time I've gone through my entire deck. And then 2 cards for Friedrich. Okay, so Wilhelm is going to go first. So first he's going to use Pummel against this veteran bandit. And he will use this token to make it into an attack 4. So these guys have those wooden shields, so we're going to roll 4 dice and we won't get to add anything for our strength. But that is 4 hits and an extra die. So that's 5 wounds, and he's poisoned. Oh, it's not 5 damage, is it? Because he's got 2 armour, it's 4 damage. So we will use Protecting the Group, and we will enhance it with Blade Dance. So it's going to be 4 dice, plus the 1 for Blade Dance. And this time we need 3s to hit. That's not too bad. So 3 hits, and we get to add another die, which is also 3. So that's 4. But he's going to block 1 point of damage with his armour. So it's 3. Which means when the bandits activate, he's going to die because of the poison. But first we'll have Friedrich go. He's going to have to do his best here to blast his way out. He's going to spend this bandage to attack with his blunderbuss, which he reloaded last time. So it's 4 dice plus 2, and he needs 2s because of the blunderbuss's activation. Wow, okay, nice. So we get to add 2 dice. So that actually becomes 4 hits, plus his dexterity is 6 hits. So it's 6 damage, and it's Pierce 1. So the 2 bandits take 5 damage each, and they're going to take 6. Okay, then with his second action, he's going to spend this bandage to do an interact and reload his blunderbuss. Then it's the enemy's turn. So we'll start with the handgunner. So before the handgunner can do anything, we're going to play Quick Aid to do its attack 2 as a free action. So we roll our 4 dice, and this time we need a 3. So he gets 2, 1, another 2. We add his dexterity of 2, or his agility of 2 should I say, so it becomes 5. It's Pierce 1, so it's actually enough to kill this handgunner before he gets to activate. And the area of effect damage, so they would each take 4 damage, so actually it's enough to kill them as well. So I'm not sure about that rule with their wooden shield, but I'm guessing because I was targeting the handgunner, it doesn't count. Oh, and when the bandits activate, he takes a point of damage and he dies. So we've actually cleaned out this warehouse completely. So we move on to round 9. And when we set the third fire, that's going to be the end. But we've actually run out of cards to draw, so we have to shuffle our discard. So there's 3 for Friedrich. Then Wilhelm, he's just going to do 2 interacts. So it doesn't really matter which ones we discard. Just those 2. Okay, so he's going to try and pick up that last finding token. So once again, it's a strength test. And he gets a 1 this time. So his strength bonus makes it to 2. And he's got 1 morale we can use to turn it into a 3. So he collects it. And then the second card he discarded, he's just going to use to set that fire. We've done it, but we do want to try and set 1 more fire. And then Friedrich will go. And we do ideally want to heal with Friedrich. But if we can set a 3rd fire, that will end the game immediately. And I get the feeling the more fires we set, the better our reward is. So he's going to spend these 2 cards to do standard movements and get to there. And that's the end of the turn. And we go on to round 10. And then we draw 2 cards for Friedrich. And we get Greek Fire and Versatility. And then we draw 2 cards for Wilhelm. Okay, so we're just going to go with Friedrich first, because this Versatility card is going to get us exactly what we need. So he gets to heal, in fact, he's got to interact on there as well. So he's going to use a bandage first to heal 1. And then when he uses Versatility, he can heal 3, putting himself back up to 7 health. Then he gets to move all parting leap 2. He's going to move to there. And he's going to interact to set that last fire. And that is victory. So let's see what victory says. You stand hidden in the shadows from an arcade with towering columns. Blazing red fire is reflected in your eyes. The flames grow tall and are already beginning to reach neighbouring buildings. Blood red fire devouring wooden beams and shingled roofs hungrily. The gods will have no mercy for this place. Wiping soot from your face, you prepare to make your report. It's just a job. Each hero gains 2 experience. Each hero who successfully set fire additionally gains 2 experience for each torched place. Okay, so that means Friedrich set 2 and Wilhelm set 1. Wilhelm goes up to 7. And then Friedrich set 2 fires, so Friedrich will get 6 experience. So he's going to go up to 15. And we roll a die for each collected finding token, and we did manage to get 3 of them. So we get 2 6s and a 2. So a 2 is 4 ducats, which is a nice result. And a 5 or a 6 is 1 silver and 1 iron. So we get 2 iron and 2 silver. So we got a nice little raid out of that as well. And it says place S77 face up on location 4. So that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. And as usual, like, subscribe, share, all the YouTube stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.